You ever notice how, like, one bad night's sleep can just totally, like, throw off your whole mood?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, get this.
Mm-hmm.
What if your sleep patterns
Yeah.
could actually predict, like, more serious mood episodes?
Oh,
Like,
why?
you know those you experience with major depressive disorder
Where?
or bipolar disorder?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to unpack this whole concept
Yeah.
in today's deep dive.
Awesome.
We're going to be looking at a study
Sure.
from Seoul National University Bundang Hospital.
Wow.
It was just published in Nature Mental Health,
Wow.
and they followed 168 patients,
Okay.
all diagnosed with either major depressive disorder
Uh-huh.
or bipolar disorder.
Gotcha.
And they tracked their sleep using wearable devices.
Okay. Interesting.
But they weren't just looking at simple things,
Yeah.
like, you know how many hours you slept?
Right, right.
They dug deeper.
Okay.
They extracted 36 different features
Wow.
from the sleep data to build, like, a really detailed picture.
36 features. That's pretty intense.
Oh, no, right? It's a lot.
So what kind of things are we talking about here?
Well, one of the most important features is something called the circadian phase,
Uh-huh.
which is essentially the timing of your internal body clock.
Okay.
Think of it like your own personal sleep-wake cycle.
So like whether you're a night owl or a morning person.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But it goes beyond that.
Okay.
The study found that even small
Yeah.
day-to-day shifts
Mm-hmm.
in your circadian phase, like
Yeah.
if your internal clock gets a little jet-lagged,
Interesting.
could be linked to changes in mood.
Oh, wow. So you're saying that like
Yeah.
if my sleep schedule is a bit off,
Uh-huh.
it could actually increase my risk of a mood episode?
That's what the research suggests.
Wow. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, and what's even more remarkable is that they were
Yeah.
able to use this sleep data
Huh?
to predict upcoming mood episodes,
Interesting.
depressive, manic, and even hypomanic, with a surprisingly high degree of accuracy.
Hold on. How accurate are we talking?
Well, for manic episodes, the model was almost perfect,
Wow.
getting it right 98% of the time.
That's amazing.
For hypomanic episodes,
Hmm.
which are basically like a milder form of mania,
Okay.
it was 95% accurate.
Wow.
Even for depressive episodes, the accuracy was really good, around 80%.
So they were able to predict it pretty well.
They were.
Okay, but how do they do that? I mean, how do you go
Yeah.
from tracking sleep to like predicting someone's mood?
They used a really powerful machine learning algorithm.
Okay.
Think of it like a super smart pattern recognition tool.
Gotcha.
They fed it all of this sleep data,
Right.
including information about when people experience different types of mood episodes.
Okay.
The algorithm then learned to spot the subtle patterns in sleep that often preceded those episodes.
So it's like the algorithm learned to read people's sleep like a mood barometer.
It's kind of mind-blowing, right?
Easy.
But out of those 76 features, were there any that stood out as
Yeah.
particularly important for predicting mood?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, tell me about it.
And it will surprise you to hear that
Okay.
the circadian phase was like the biggest predictor.
Okay.
They found that when someone's circadian phase was more delayed than usual,
Uh-huh.
like their internal clock was running a bit behind,
Okay.
they were at a higher risk for a depressive episode.
That makes sense. You know, when I'm
Yeah.
sleep deprived, I definitely
right.
feel more down and irritable.
Exactly.
So,
And on the flip side, when someone's circadian phase was more advanced,
nah.
like their internal clock was running ahead,
Mm-hmm.
the model flagged a higher risk for a manic episode.
So basically, any kind of significant shift in your normal sleep-wake cycle could be a warning sign.
It seems that way, yeah.
It really highlights how deeply interconnected our sleep, circadian rhythms, and mental well-being are.
Definitely.
This is all incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, part of me is also a little freaked out.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that my phone could predict my mood swings feels kind of invasive.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a double-edged sword.
Uh-huh.
On the one hand,
Yeah.
this technology has the potential to empower people
Right.
to take control of their mental health
Yeah.
in a way that was never possible before.
Like having an early warning system for mood episodes.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, it does raise important questions about privacy
Mm-hmm.
and how this information is used.
Right.
So there are definitely some ethical considerations to think about.
Definitely.
But before we get into that,
Yeah.
I'm curious,
Mm-hmm.
how much sleep data did they actually have to work with in this study?
Oh, they had a massive amount of data.
Ugh.
Over 44,000 days worth.
Wow.
And within that, there were about 7,000 days where mood episodes occurred.
Okay.
It was a really robust data set.
So they weren't just working with a small sample size.
Right, and to really make sure they were
Yeah.
seeing a true connection.
Between sleep and mood. They had to account for the fact that many medications used to treat mood disorders
Right.
can also affect sleep.
That makes sense.
So how did they rule out the possibility that the model was just picking up on changes caused by medication?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, they did something really clever.
Okay.
They created a separate testing set that only included data from patients who hadn't changed their medications
Okay.
after a mood episode started.
Gotcha.
And even with this stricter criteria, the model still performed remarkably well.
Wow, that's impressive.
It really does seem like they've tapped into something fundamental
Yeah.
about the relationship between sleep and mood.
I think so. It's a major step forward in our understanding of mental health.
For sure.
And it opens up some truly exciting possibilities.
So we've covered a lot of ground already,
Yeah, we have.
but we're just getting started.
Awesome.
Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll explore the potential real-world applications of this technology
Exciting.
and what it could mean for the future of mental health care.
Can't wait.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but my mind is still spinning
Right.
from all that we talked about
Yeah.
in the first part of our deep dive, using our sleep data to actually predict mood episodes.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild stuff.
It is incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
This whole idea of using everyday technology
Yeah.
to get a deeper understanding of our health is really taking off. It's called digital phenotyping.
Okay.
And it has huge potential for so many areas of medicine.
So it's not just limited to mood disorders.
Not at all.
Okay.
This study focused on major depressive disorder and bipolar disorder. But I could see similar applications for other mental health conditions.
Like what?
Like anxiety disorders,
Right.
PTSD, maybe even schizophrenia.
Do you think there are unique sleep signatures for all these different mental health challenges?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And a fascinating area for future research.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could pinpoint
Yeah.
distinct sleep patterns associated with specific conditions.
Right.
It could revolutionize diagnosis and treatment.
For sure.
We could potentially identify people at risk,
Yeah.
even before they experience major symptoms.
That would be a game changer.
It would.
Catching things early could make a world of difference.
Definitely.
It seems like we're moving toward a much more proactive and personalized approach to mental health care,
Yeah.
trying to prevent problems instead of just reacting to them.
Absolutely. And this study is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's building on decades of research, exploring the connection between sleep and mental health.
Right.
But it takes things to a whole new level.
So in the past, researchers mainly observed that disrupted sleep was common in
Yeah.
people with mood disorders, often even before a full-blown episode, but they couldn't predict these episodes with any real accuracy.
Right. But this study uses sophisticated mathematical models and machine learning to predict mood episodes with remarkable accuracy,
Yeah.
simply based on sleep patterns.
It's amazing.
It's a testament to the power of these new technologies.
But it's not just about prediction, right?
Right.
We also talked about how this technology could empower people to take control of their own mental health.
Imagine having an app
Okay.
that analyzes your sleep data
Yeah.
and gives you personalized advice on how to improve your sleep hygiene. It could even offer suggestions for stress-reducing activities.
Right.
Or recommend when to reach out to your healthcare provider.
That's a really appealing idea.
It'd be like having a personal mental health coach right on your phone.
Yeah, like a little therapist in your pocket.
Exactly. And it could go even further.
Okay, how so?
Imagine this kind of app integrating with other digital tools, like mood tracking apps or mindfulness programs.
Right.
It could create a really comprehensive and personalized mental health management system.
So we're not just talking about predicting mood episodes,
Right.
but also giving people the tools to potentially prevent them.
Exactly.
Huh.
It's like shifting the focus from reaction to proaction.
I like that a lot.
And the implications extend beyond individual care.
Okay.
This technology could revolutionize research and clinical trials, too.
How so?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
Being able to track sleep patterns objectively and continuously in studies would provide incredibly valuable data.
That's true.
We could understand how different treatments impact sleep
Right.
and how those sleep changes relate to symptom improvement.
Okay.
It could lead to more effective and targeted interventions
Yeah.
based on a deeper understanding of how sleep and mental health are intertwined.
This is all incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to acknowledge that there are potential downsides as well. Earlier, I mentioned feeling a bit freaked out about the privacy implications.
Right.
Are there other concerns that we should be thinking about?
Absolutely. Data privacy is a huge one.
Yeah.
This technology relies on collecting very sensitive personal information.
Uh-huh.
So robust safeguards are essential
Okay.
to ensure data is securely stored and used ethically.
Right.
We also need to be aware of potential biases in the data.
Okay.
If the algorithms are trained on data that doesn't represent, like, the diversity of human experience, it could lead to inaccurate or even harmful predictions.
So it's not just about the technology itself,
Right.
but also about ensuring it's developed and used responsibly and equitably.
Exactly. It's a collective responsibility
Yeah.
that involves researchers, clinicians, policymakers, and society as a whole.
We need to be having these conversations for sure.
We need to be asking the tough questions.
It's like what?
Who has access to this technology?
Okay.
How do we protect people's privacy? How do we ensure the information is used in a way that benefits everyone?
These are big questions.
They are. But it sounds like we're just at the beginning of this journey.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
What do you see as, like, the most important next steps
Yeah.
to bring this technology from the lab to the real world in a safe and responsible way?
Well, first and foremost, we need more large-scale studies in real-world settings
Yeah.
to confirm these findings and see how well they apply to diverse populations.
Right.
We also need to develop user-friendly applications that are accessible and understandable for everyone, not just tech-savvy people.
And I imagine there needs to be a lot of education and training for healthcare providers
Absolutely.
so they can effectively incorporate this technology into their practices.
It's not just about handing someone a new gadget.
Right.
It's about integrating this information into a holistic approach to care.
I agree.
We've covered so much ground already.
Yeah, we have.
It feels like we're on the cusp of a real revolution in mental health care.
It does.
And I, for one, am excited to see where it leads.
Me too.
Yeah.
The potential benefits are enormous.
They really are.
But as we move forward,
Yeah.
it's crucial to proceed with both enthusiasm and caution, ensuring that these advancements are used ethically and equitably
Right.
to improve the lives of all people.
We'll buckle up because we're not done yet.
Oh, there's more.
In part 3 of our deep dive,
Okay.
we'll delve into some of the limitations of this study
Gotcha.
and explore the broader implications of these findings for the future of mental health.
Bring it away.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive
Oh, cool.
into predicting mood episodes using sleep data.
Yeah,
It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
it really has.
We've explored some pretty groundbreaking research,
For sure.
but as with any scientific discovery, it's important to consider the limitations.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It is.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of
Yeah.
new findings,
Right.
but we always need to maintain a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's dig into some of those limitations. One that really stuck with me
Yeah.
is that the model in this study
Mm-hmm.
only uses 1 day of sleep data
Right.
to make a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that would give you a pretty short window
Yeah.
to actually do something about it.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Ideally,
Yeah.
you have models that can analyze longer-term sleep patterns
Okay.
and give us more advanced notice
Uh-huh.
that would allow for more time to prepare
Right.
and potentially take steps to prevent a full-blown episode.
It's like, what good is a warning system if the alarm doesn't go off until the house is already on fire?
Exactly.
You know?
And that's definitely an area for future research.
Right.
Imagine a model
Okay.
that could analyze weeks or even months of your sleep data.
Wow.
It could pick up on subtle trends
Okay.
and give you a much more personalized risk assessment.
That would be incredible.
It would be like having a personalized mood forecast based on your sleep patterns.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that struck me is that this study only included patients
Right.
who were already receiving regular health care
Yeah.
for their mood disorders.
And that's an important limitation to keep in mind.
Yes.
We don't yet know how well these findings would translate
Yeah.
to people who might not have the same level of access to care,
Right.
or who might be struggling with more severe or complex forms of these conditions.
So there's still a lot more research to be done
Definitely.
before we can say for sure how widely applicable this technology will be.
And as we move forward,
Yeah.
it's essential to ensure that these advancements benefit everyone,
Right.
not just a select few.
Mm.
Accessibility and equity are crucial considerations.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the limitations.
Yeah.
Now I want to circle back to something
Okay.
that's been on my mind throughout this entire deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
The ethical implications. We touched on data privacy earlier,
Yeah.
but are there other ethical concerns that we need to be thinking about?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
We're dealing with very personal and sensitive information here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crucial
Yeah.
that we develop clear guidelines for how this data is collected,
Mm-hmm.
stored, and used.
Right.
We need to ensure that people have control over their own data
For sure.
and that it's not used in ways they haven't consented to.
And it's not just about protecting the data itself.
Right.
It's also about how the predictions generated by these models are used and communicated.
Exactly.
Okay.
Imagine getting a notification on your phone that says,
Yeah.
based on your sleep last night,
Mm-hmm.
you're at high risk for a manic episode tomorrow.
Wow.
That kind of information could be really anxiety-provoking,
Right.
especially if it's not delivered in a sensitive and supportive way.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
If you're constantly being told you're at risk for a mood episode,
Right.
it could actually make you more likely to experience one.
That's a really important point.
It is.
It highlights the need for careful consideration about how this information is presented
Yeah.
and the potential impact it could have on people's emotional well-being.
It seems like the key is to use this technology as a tool for empowerment,
I agree.
not fear-mongering.
I completely agree. The goal is to provide people with insights
Yeah.
that can help them make informed decisions about their health and well-being,
Right.
not to create unnecessary anxiety or stigma.
So at the end of the day, these models are just tools, right? They
That's-
can't replace the human element of care.
Technology can play a valuable role in mental health care,
Mm-hmm.
but it should always be used in conjunction with human connection
Right.
and clinical expertise.
It's about enhancing care, not replacing it.
Precisely the relationship between a patient and their healthcare provider
Mm-hmm.
remains essential.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We've
explored the potential, the limitations, and the ethical considerations of using sleep data to predict mood episodes. So where does all of this leave us?
Right.
What's the key takeaway for our listener today?
I think the most important message is that
Right.
we're witnessing a real paradigm shift
Yeah,
in mental health care.
like a whole new way of thinking about it.
We're moving away from a reactive approach,
Mm-hmm.
where we only intervene after someone is already struggling,
Right.
toward a more proactive and preventative approach.
And technology is playing a key role in this shift,
Absolutely.
giving us new tools
Yep.
to understand and manage mental health in ways we never thought possible.
But as with any powerful tool,
Uh-huh.
it's crucial to use it responsibly and ethically.
Yeah.
We need to be mindful of the potential downsides
Right.
and work together to ensure that these advancements benefit everyone.
It's a fascinating and complex landscape,
Yeah.
and there's still so much more to explore.
For sure.
But I think it's safe to say that the future of mental health care is looking brighter than ever.
I completely agree. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the collective will to make a real difference in the lives of people struggling with mental health challenges.
That's what it's all about.
And that's a future worth striving for.
And on that hopeful note, we come to the end of our deep dive.
Wow, that was awesome.
We've delved into some pretty complex topics today.
We have.
And I hope you've come away with a deeper understanding of the intricate connection between sleep and mental health.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
Remember, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more you understand about your own mind and body,
Uh-huh.
the better equipped you are to take control of your well-being.
We encourage you to continue exploring these ideas
Yeah, definitely.
and to have open conversations with your healthcare providers
Mhm.
about the role that sleep and technology can play in your mental health journey.
After all, the most important conversation starts now.
With you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time,
Yeah.
sleep well. Good night.